Hey, what's up guys, welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Prince Mason. You guys know we are on a series of retouching videos. We're going to be putting out at least one retouching video every week or every 2 weeks, and whenever I have time I can put out 2 retouching videos a week. So if you haven't seen the previous retouching video, I'll put a link up here. Definitely go check it out. It is a retouching video that I think it's a retouching video that everybody should definitely check out if you're looking for how to retouch headshots. So this is another beauty image, and this is a little bit different from the previous one, but we're going to use basically the same type of technique. So if you have your images out, pull them out, let's practice with or just practice with me. So with this, the first thing that I'm going to do is work on the color. Now, I mean, just by measuring it with our eyes, we can see that it has a lot of magenta, and the reason is because the previous image that I retouched, I shot that with a softbox, kind of like a beauty dish, but it's an octabox for the most part. And this was shot with a very small light. So if I zoom inside here, you can see the light source is just a reflector cone. Basically, that's what we used to shoot this. So it definitely did affect the color and also how the light looks on our subject's face. So the first thing I want to do right now is just add some warmth to this image. So I'll probably just take it up a little bit. Somewhere around here is fine. And then what I want to do is add some greens to our image. Nothing too much. Maybe take this up a little bit again, and then just add some greens to the image. Something around here looks pretty decent. So let's see our before and our after. As you can see, our image is looking good. Now, I have edited some of these images before, so I'm going to show you exactly what they look like. And since I want them to look the same way, I'll come here and check what our image look like when I fixed it here. So basically right here, you guys can see our before and our after here. And this is just what I use. So what I'm going to do is just copy these settings right here and then just go paste them on this one. But for the most part, it's basically the same thing. This just has a little bit more magenta on it, and because I want the images to look the same way after retouching this, right? Okay, great. So now that we've done this, what we want to see is just turn on an exposure warning up here. Look at right here, that's our exposure warning, right? Want to see the parts of our images that are overexposed, right? So I'm going to come back to adjust and then just drag this in to see. At this point, you can see that we're already getting like her nose overexposed. See, we don't want that, so just dragging it just a little bit, somewhere around there is fine. And then maybe we'll add some contrast by dragging this. So what we're doing here is pulling in our highlights. So we're just making the image a lot more contrasty. So this is basically, this is like your histogram right here on your, there's a levels adjustment layer, but right here on our right we have our I'm just going to pull that out for you to see. So right here on our right we have our highlights. Right here on our this thing on our left we have our shadows. So basically this place, when we pull it in, we crush our shadows. When we pull this in, we kind of like overexpose or expose our highlights. So just try it out. I really like it, and I do it for all my images. This is like the way I add contrast to my images. Okay, great. So we're going to turn off our exposure warning right now. And at this point, I'm basically done with everything that I need to do in Capture One. The reason is because I shoot my images to look really good right out the gate. So when I bring it into Capture One, I just need to do maybe some little color adjustments and then add some contrast to it. That's all I do with my raw files in Capture One. So what I'm going to do right now is edit this image in Photoshop, and these are settings that I use. And let's get straight into Photoshop and get this going. Okay, so now we are in Photoshop, and the first thing I want to do is just duplicate this layer and then take off this. This right here is her nail so we just need to hold that hair out so that I could see her face very well. So we're going to take that out. I duplicated my layer, and that's Command J or Control J on PC to duplicate, right? And then what I'm going to do is just take that out. So basically just fill, and we just go to content aware, and it will just take that out. Easy, right? Done. The next thing I want to do is probably just take out these strands of hair right here, and all we have to do is come here and click spot removal brush, right? Click on that, just zoom in, and I'm not taking out the whole hair here, just like some. So I just take that out. You guys can see it does a really good job. take that out, take this out, take this out, and take that out. Okay, that looks really nice and clean now, right? Whatever it is that's left there, don't worry, we'll take it out later. Now, for most of my work right now, what I do is use my action panel. You guys know that. If you're following my videos, you guys know I use my actions because I create these actions to make life easy for me, basically. And if you want to get them, then I'll put a link in the description below. Definitely check it out. I feel like it's going to make life a lot easy for you. Now, I've taught people how to use the frequency separation technique with median or with your regular Gaussian blow, and you can do that too, you know, as a start, or you can get do micro dodge and burn first and then move to that. But typically what I do right now is just run my beauty retouch action. Now, it's not all I do, it's for blending the skin first. You can do that with your frequency separation. So what I'm going to do is run my beauty retouch action and then let that load up. Like I said, you don't have to do this, but this is how I retouch most of my images right now. I have a ton of images that I'm retouching for my personal shoots for clients, and I need to get images out of the way as soon as possible. And I feel like this is the fastest way I can get images out of the way and still have a lot of creative control on how I want the images to actually come out. And if you deliver images to clients, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, great. So now we are just going to wait for this to do its thing. One more minute. Okay, great. Now we're done. So what I'm going to do is pick a brush, so a normal brush, and just take my flow anywhere between 20 and 25. Make sure it's a soft brush and my foreground color is white. Just always make sure that my foreground color is white, right? So I'm going to come down to paint here. Now, before I do that, I can remove the blemishes, but you know, for the sake of this video, I'm already here. And what I'm going to do, make sure I'm using a white brush. I just changed that to white, so you can toggle between your foreground and your background color by clicking X on your keyboard. Okay, so I've switched to white, and right here, paint here, what I'm going to do is just paint over my subject. Avoid the lips, avoid the eyes, avoid the eyebrows, you know, avoid all those places. So I'm just going to paint over my subject. So I'm using a soft brush because, you know, and a flow of 25 because it just helps me control how much of this I want, you know. So I know it seems like nothing is happening right now, but just give it a minute and I'll show you the before and after. Okay, so this is our before and this is our after. As you can see, before, after, you can see it's done a pretty decent job already. So before, after, before, after. Okay, great. Before I come down to the body, what I want to do is go up here to extra smooth and then just work on this just a little bit more. Okay, great. Now, this is not all we're doing. I mean, a lot of people can stop here and decide, okay, you know, this image is good enough. What I'm going to do is just do my global dodge and burn and all that stuff. But we're not going to stop here, right? I'm going to reduce my flow to about maybe like 10% or somewhere around that range. And what I'll do is come down here to paint here, come back down here to paint here, and then just work on the body a little bit. Because, you know, you don't want anything to look overly retouched, you know, especially the body, right? Okay, great. So now we've done this, what we can do is open our paint here layer, come to blending, and then just adjust, you know, to match what we want. So somewhere around here looks like it's fine. So before, after, you guys can see we've done a lot of the work already. So what I'm going to do is go to my high texture, pick my clone stamp tool. This is your clone stamp tool right here. Flow on 100%. I like when my hardness is on 0, right? And just go in and work on my high texture layer. So what I'm doing right now is just taking out a lot of the blemishes on the face. So all you have to do is sample, hold option, alternate on PC, and just sample, and then just clean. All right, okay. guys can see we're doing a pretty decent job. Now typically I will take my time with this, like I always tell everybody. When it comes to removing blemishes, take your time with it, because that's the difference between an image that just looks really, I don't know, that textures are all over the place, and an image that looks very even. So zoom inside like I'm doing, take your time, get those textures looking nice and even, right? Always sample close to where you're working on. I'm just going to take this out. That just looks weird right there. Get back to the nose later. I mean, for the nose, you can literally just burn it and darken it, you know, and nothing's going to show. Okay, great. So just take these out. And what I'm going to do right now is finish this, because obviously I don't expect you guys to just stay here and watch me take out like all the blemishes from the face. So what I'm going to do is finish this, and we will be right back. Okay, so I just took my time to take out most of the blemishes from my face. So I'm going to show you guys the before right here and the after. You guys can see it before, after. You guys can see I cleaned up everywhere around the face to have the skin looking nice and even. So using the Pro Retouching pack, right? This is what our before and after looks like right now. This is our before and our after using the Pro Retouching pack. We didn't have to use any micro dodge and burn or any mixer brush to get to this point. Now, does that mean we're not going to use any one of those? No, it does not mean that. So after using this, when it comes to beauty images, what I like to do is go in and do micro dodge and burn. Now, because I have taken out most of the tiny, I would say it's kind of like tiny differences between highlights and shadows on your subject's face, right? That makes the skin uneven, basically, right? Because I've done that with the Pro Retouching pack. Now, what I have to do is just correct the way light is hitting our face to make the whole image look a lot better. I'm going to show you guys what that means. So right here, using my other retouching pack, what I'm going to do is create like a complete dodge and burn. So this is my retouching essentials, right? And then for my levels, what I'm going to do inside my invert check layer is just open that up, because I want to see how light is hitting her face, right? And with this, I can see very well, you know, you can see the difference between lights and shadows around her face. So what I'm going to do is come down to my dodge and burn, pick a brush tool, take my flow all the way to 1. Make sure your flow is on 1. Your foreground color is white, and it is a soft brush, so hardness is on 0, right? Now, with the invert check layer, what happens is every time you invert the layer, look right here underneath the eye, you know, the nose of the bridge, anywhere that is white turns to black. But the way you know you're doing the right thing is when you dodge, it turns darker. So for example, if for some reason I just want to fix this part, because I can see some, I would say the difference between here and here is quite obvious. Right here on like the top of a lip, and right here it's quite obvious. What I can do is just pay over here. If it's getting darker, then I'm doing the right thing. That means I am dodging a part right here. Can you see that part? That is dark, and I'm making it lighter, right? And it's the same thing, you know, with this part of her face, right? If I'm burning it, so if I burn this part of her face, it's getting lighter, right? You can see it's getting just a little bit lighter, right? When it's getting lighter, it means I'm doing the right thing. So look at that. That's the before, that's the after, right? So that's what I'll do with this image right now. So I'm just going to burn, you know, as you can see, I'm not going inside to try and like fix the differences between the tiny highlights. For example, if I turn off the beauty retouch layer, you can see with dodge and burn, you have to go inside and fix all the tiny, I would say, differences between highlights and shadows that you can see in here. But once the beauty retouch is on, most of those are fixed. Right now, I'm just fixing the way light is hitting our face and just making the face look a lot more even, right? And you don't have to do much with this, depending on what you want to do, basically. So we'll just do this, just fix some of these up, right? Maybe come to our dodge, and right here I can see some highlights right here that I probably do not want, and just fix some of that. So let's see what our before and after looks like. with this tiny thing that I've done. Look at that before, look at that after, before, after. You can see right here, it just seemed like there were some highlights around her mouth that made the mouth look weird. So let's see before and after, before and after. You guys can see that. Looks great. Let's do that again. Before, after, before, after. If you want to go in and fix a lot more stuff, that's on you. But at this point, I feel like it's okay. Now I can see some tiny things here that I'm not really happy with. So what I'm going to do is just come here and burn those areas and just fix that up. And then I'll check what it looks like again. If I've done too much, let's see what it looks like. So I need to dodge some places here. So without using my invert check layer, I'll just come in and dodge some of those just to fix that up. And if I did too much, I'll go in, just burn just to even everything out. So I feel like that looks a lot better now. Yeah, it does. So let's see that before and after. And that looks pretty good right now. Okay, great. So now that we have done this whole thing right here, the next thing we want to do is global dodge and burn as usual, right? So what I'm going to do is, I don't think I need this micro dodge and burn layer, the second one, so I'm going to take that out. And with our global dodge and burn, what I'll do is just open it. Now with the brush, I'm going to increase the brush flow to 3. So anywhere between 3 to 5 is fine, but 3 works perfectly. Come to dodge, and what we want to do is dodge our highlights, just right here like this. You know, getting there. You can zoom inside. Now, I like working with my images like zoomed out. I don't know why, but I just feel like that's how people are going to see it. So I like working the way people are going to see the image, right? So just get some dodge right here on the eye, you know, increase the shine that's right there. What else? Underneath the eye, there's a shine there. So increase those shine right there. And then don't forget the body, because we don't want the face to stand out a lot more than the body. So fix some of this, and let's see what our before and after look like. Looks nice. And then what we're going to do is burn our shadows. So any part that is dark, we're going to burn. Now this looks really good to me, right? I don't have a problem with how this looks. Depending on what you want, you might decide to go in a little bit further to fix a few things. Now I can see some things that I don't think I'm liking that I would like to fix, but I feel like for this image, it looks really good right now at this point for the amount of time that was spent on this particular image. Now you guys know how I typically finish my images. I'll come here to levels, you know, just drag my levels in, hold option or alternate on PC. You know, this has a lot more shine on it, so that's totally fine. Then I'll pull my blacks in just to add some contrast to it. So it's 6. That looks absolutely gorgeous. So let's see before and after. So I'm going to zoom inside so you guys can see the before and after. Before, after. You guys can see what I've done right here. The next thing I want to do is probably add like a color lookup, so using one of my skin tone lots, because that's what I use to color grade most of my images. But before I do that, what I want to do is just use my eyes and teeth whitening actions. These are free, so you can check them out and get them in digital store. Link will be in the description below. And I'll just take my flow to probably like 100, right? Because I have a lot more control of this one. So just paint over her eyes. Now I won't do the same for her teeth though. I'll reduce the flow a lot for the teeth, because you know, you don't want the teeth to just look too white. So somewhere around here is fine. So if I reduce the opacity, you know, both of them are not like on the same level of brightness, you know, just somewhere around here looks decent. We don't want it to be too white, right? Okay, so now that we've done that, next thing we want to do is add a color lookup to our image. So that's the color lookup is we're using lots, so I'm going to use one of my lots. I typically use my natural skin tone lots, or sorry, my skin tone lots, because that's like for darker skin tones. So I'll probably try 4 to see what 4 looks like. 4 is typically my go-to for the most part, but we can see what 6 looks like. 6 looks really good, doesn't look bad at all. So I'm going to use 6, maybe reduce the opacity just a little bit of 6, and that looks absolutely gorgeous. Now there are a few other things that you can do to the image. You can create a stamp visible layer, and if you want the textures to stand out a lot more, just use the smart sharpen or we can add textures to it. So skin texture would not be a bad idea. So let's see what that would look like. The height, I'll probably just increase it, and the amount I'll increase it to just see what that looks like. Okay, and now we can just paint in some textures in some parts of her face, you know, not everywhere, maybe somewhere around here, because that has a lot more texture. So let's just zoom inside so you guys can see that. So around here, so this before, after, you guys can see we've added some more textures around this part of the face. You can sharpen it if you want, but I mean, it looks good here. If you're trying to reduce the textures, like textures on top of the head, which I definitely will not reduce because I like the way it is, you can do that using the reduced soft skin, reduced texture. But I feel like this image is good right now the way it is. The only thing I'll do is create a stamp visible layer. I feel like this part of the eye is just a lot lower than this part. So what I'm going to do is go to my liquify, and I'll just increase my liquify tool and just lift this eye up just a little bit, and the brows too. I feel like I've done that too much, but maybe make the eye just a little smaller. But yeah, I felt like I needed to lift the whole eye up a little bit. The eye looks really big right now, so just reduce size. So let's see, before it was down there, after it's back up here, and I feel like that looks a lot better now. Yeah, these are tiny details that go a long way, you know, when it comes to like your image. So let's see what the before and after looks like right now. See, that looks good. So we're going to zoom in to look at our image, and this is where we started right here. Removed the finger that is right here, did a beauty retouch from my pro retouching pack, then a little bit of micro dodge and burn, which I typically do every time right now, then global dodge and burn to add some contrast to it. Added some more contrast to the entire image using my levels, eyes and teeth whitening actions to whiten the eyes. Then we have our color look up here to add the color grade to it, and then, you know, created a stamp visible layer, added some skin texture to the face, and then use liquify to fix the eye. So what we're going to do is save this image right now, and I'll see you in capture one, where we're just going to add some noise and the image is ready to go out. So see you in capture one in a second. Okay guys, so now we are back in capture one, and I want to show you where we started from. So this is our image. This right here is our straight out of camera. This is our capture one edit, and this image right here is our retouched image. You guys can see the difference, how we got from here to here to here. Okay, great. So now what I'm going to do is go to my refine tab right here, go to tubular grain, and just add some grain to my image. Now it depends on you. If you want your image to be sharper, you can add a certain amount of sharpening to your image. I typically do not do that, to be very honest, but maybe I'll start trying that out to see what it looks like when it's on social media or on my clients' websites, because most of them don't really print their work. But for the most part, this is the edit and this is everything. So this before and this after. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. And also check out my pro retouching pack. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put a card up here for anybody that wants to check it out. I feel like it will help you take your retouching from where it is right now to a whole new level and help you save time. So if you're somebody that's struggling with the mixer brush tool or with micro dodge and burn, this would be a game changer for you. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Peace out.